So yeah, David was messaging me this morning, and him and I we'll just send each other some random something just completely absurd and no context.
Do you think David and I would be friends?
Yeah, David and I are very similar people.
I want to be friends with him.
Yeah, you and David would get along just fine. So no context, just send one of us something weird, and it was he sent me the trailer to Free Willy 2, which
specifically.
There's no context, and we've never talked about Free Willy or anything. It was literally just more of remember this fucking thing? It's also you said you never seen it, Free Willy 2.
I mean, I might have. I don't know.
Remember? Did you see Free Willy?
Yeah, it's the orca.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
It's not the
jumping over the kid.
Yeah.
So it's why does there need to be a sequel to Free Willy?
What is the sequel?
He goes out to find Willy, and they're following orcas. It's Willy, and somehow the orca remembers him.
Really familiar.
But then there's an oil tanker that's now just getting ready to pollute the water.
No, but also your question.
It's an environmental fucking.
No, but your question too. Does there need to be a sequel to Free Willy? No. Does there need to be a sequel to Jaws?
No.
Does there need to be a sequel to Leprechaun?
It's
no.
Do you remember there's multiple sequels to Air Bud.
Flipper.
Dude, right? Why?
Beethoven. Richie Rich.
All of these, it's kids movies banking on, it's producers banking on kids movies pretty much. But Free Willy had Free Willy 2 had an actual theatrical release. It was
Oh, it wasn't Return of Jafar or
no,
whatever.
it wasn't really a straight. It's starring the lead kid from Free Willy. The cast pretty much all returns.
It's not straight to what?
Did I say what I said?
No, I was just curious. I was curious if you were going to say DVD or VHS because it was.
I think I was going to say straight to DVD, but I think I was thinking VHS.
Yeah.
Straight to video cassette coming to your stores near you.
God, I wish we knew more younger people, just because I would love to show them a VHS and be it's like the floppy disk thing. Do you know what this is?
Well, it's when we were kids and we saw. Did you ever see a Betamax for the first time?
No, I think the first.
You know what a Betamax is? Yeah.
I think the one that tripped me out is that I found a laser disc of Bruce Springsteen's Born in the USA, and I'm still pissed I didn't buy it, even though I could never play it. I just wanted it.
Laserdisc was a crazy thing because not only did it play movies, it was also video games were put on Laserdiscs.
So for those who don't, Laserdiscs were the size of a vinyl, but they were like a CD.
Yeah.
They were
but they were thick and heavy.
Yeah, they were cool.
You could beat someone up with it. You could hurt somebody with it.
If you were to sharpen it, it'd be a fucking Mortal Kombat weapon.
Kung Lao's hat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Kung Lao's hat.
All right, let's get into this.
This is Tommy.
This is Jake.
This is Tommy and Jacob's mixtape. Hello, everyone. How's it going? I had a little bit of water come out my nose.
And I was coughing in the middle. There's an introduction. Welcome back, everybody.
Cute.
I hope everybody had a good weekend and enjoyed their time with last week's. What was last week's? The Thing.
Yes, welcome back to, we're doing episode 83. We're getting up there.
Yeah, we're getting up there.
We're reviewing today Seven Psychopaths.
Yes. This is our, editors? The word
yeah, so the word we got was editor, and then we kind of leaned into more of a crime thing.
I think it was more just writing.
Writing in general, and then also we did that movie I've Seen That He Has It, and vice versa. I picked Seven Psychopaths.
Which the way you described it seemed there was more of a journalistic point.
That's how I remembered it. But watching it again, I was like, oh, I just didn't remember this as much as... I'm still glad we watched it.
Yeah, it's this movie.
But, yeah.
I did enjoy this movie, but it's also... I don't have a lot to say about this movie, which is very strange for me.
That is, for this movie, because I feel like there's a lot of layers to it.
There is, I don't know. Let's just get into it.
So yeah, Seven Psychopaths, released 2012, originally at the Toronto International Film Festival on September 7th.
Yes.
Then in the US, October 12th, and in the UK, December 5th.
Oh, really? I thought that was the same for the UK, but okay. When I was looking at the dates, I thought I just looked at the wrong.
Hey.
Yeah. So like reviews, IMDb stuff, like all of its ratings. That's the word I was looking for. It's got a 7.1 rating on IMDb, 83% tomato meter reading on Rotten Tomatoes, and 71% audience score, and a little bit lower on Metacritic, which I thought was weird. 66% on Metacritic.
I get that.
I don't. Yeah, just more like more reviews. I don't know. But where it's set box office wise this year is pretty low, bottom of the barrel, lower. 123 domestically and then 152 worldwide.
Yeah. And to give an idea, this is the year also Avengers came out, Skyfall, Dark Knight Rises, which I forgot that movie's that fucking old.
I forgot the Dark Knight Rises. Oh, I was thinking the Dark Knight. I was like, the Dark Knight and Avengers didn't come out the same year. That's weird. No, Dark Knight Rises. Yeah, okay.
Hobbit, the first one, right? Because Unexpected Journey is the first one.
Yeah, that's the first one.
And then Ice Age 4, which I didn't even know they made 4 of those movies.
I think that's the fifth one.
Did you hear Did you see that little thing?
Yeah.
Oh.
What what's the studio?
Fuck.
Ice Age. The studio that did the animation and everything for Ice Age and those movies. It's DreamWorks studio, wasn't it? But they officially closed or were done. But like I think they're moving on to other projects. I think
Scratch got his nut.
Scratch finally got his nut.
Oh my god!
And then he ate it. And then he ate it and just.
I forgot
casually walked off.
I forgot how much I loved that character. It's just the noises.
Yeah. So, what's your movie count for this year, 2012? Yours is definitely gonna be higher than mine.
Actually, this was really low, and I just realized why. So I got 42.
Mine's 31.
But I was like, when I was doing it, I was like, this is like, I thought I would get a lot, but this is 2012. This is around the time that I first moved out here.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't have money to go see a lot of
that
movies
makes sense.
And
I kind of figured yours would be a lot higher just because. Like, during this time is when I'm going to school, and I'm not really seeing much in the theaters at all.
Yeah, and this was me just trying to work and get established.
Yeah,
and,
that makes sense.
You know, working a lot and stuff. Yeah, I was just like, so 42. I thought it would be higher.
Yeah. So, yeah, let's get into writer and director. Same person. Very nice.
Yeah, it's always so nice.
Which, I wasn't expecting the history with this guy, like who he was.
I'm pissed.
Why?
In Bruges, trying to get that movie to review it, but we did his other movie, not In Bruges, which is an amazing movie. I just am like been fighting for In Bruges, and
we'll get there. It's okay.
I fucking love that movie.
Just calm down, just breathe.
Well, now we gotta wait because Colin Farrell's in it.
I know, and I just realized also when we were doing this, like, we did The Lobster not too long ago. So
yeah, whatever.
But anyway, if you guys aren't aware, this was written and directed by Martin Mcdonough. Which, also in film, he did In Bruges, wrote and directed that, and then 3 billboards outside of some state.
Ebbing, Missouri.
Ebbings, Missouri, yeah. Which he nominated Oscars with that.
I didn't realize it was him, but I've been wanting to see that. I keep forgetting about it.
What's really interesting is like looking at his stuff, I was like, I recognized all of his stuff. This is the first movie I've ever seen from him, but I'm familiar with his plays.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Like
Pillow Man and, there's one that I really want to read now called The Behanding in Spokane.
Huh.
But he, like, a lot of his plays, a lot of them it's like either Irish or UK people in locale and whatnot. Mm-hmm. Because Martin Mcdonough, he is from the UK, but like grew up more in like,
I think the term that I kept seeing pop up was Anglo-Irish.
Yeah. So like he has English and Irish roots, like in growing up and whatnot. He's only done like a couple of things that really are like set in the United States, and like Seven Psychopaths is one, 3 Billboards is one. The Behanding in Spokane is his only play that it takes place inside of the States. The rest of them take place either in the UK or someplace in Ireland. But no, like he's a wonderful writer, and like I was surprised. Like, this is also in the last couple of weeks another movie that we've done where the writer is a known playwright, well-known playwright.
Which is actually funny. I didn't put that together.
And also, like, but the very beginning of this movie, I was like, oh, this feels like it's kind of playish. Like, the dialogue is very.
This movie is also, just so everyone is aware, is very dialogue heavy.
Yes.
And that's also what makes it very fun to, especially going in Seven Psychopaths, you think it's going to be, and it's bloody and violent, but it's not, you think it's going to be like crank in my like that's my first thought is something like over the top, but it's so dialogue heavy.
But also the violence is so over the top too.
Yeah, it's like
it's sudden and over the top.
It's really it's a very strange movie.
It is. It's it's really a movie that kind of exists in its own realm. Like, because it's not really a crime thriller in my opinion. It's more of like a satire on Hollywood and
weird like a revenge story.
Yeah,
the common theme is revenge throughout it.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I think I was having a hard time wrapping my head around like what this movie truly was about, because it's almost two separate movies.
Yeah,
but it's so aware of itself. It's super meta.
Yeah, like I honestly can't really think of a movie to be like, if you liked this, you might like.
Maybe like I think if you like this, you like Pulp Fiction. Because it's definitely, it's got a weird Tarantino vibe to it as well.
It's like yeah. Like if you like Tarantino, you might like this, but Tarantino fans may not like it because they might feel like it's trying too hard to be a Tarantino.
I think if somebody like this, they would like Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
But I was just about to bring up, it's kind of like Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, and we were convinced it was a Guy Ritchie film, and it's not a Guy Ritchie film. Oh
man, did we review that?
No, that'd be fun to do.
Yeah, that would be a fun one to do.
That would be really fun.
Yeah.
That's a great movie too.
That's a wonderful movie.
Actually, yeah, there you go. You like Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. I think you'd like.
And then like in that sense, I would also say like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I think the Hollywood theme is a very important thing to this for this story.
Well, so and Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is also exactly. Hollywood.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I kind of feel the same feel with it as well. Yeah, because it's like you can't really take the Hollywood out of this movie because it's about a screenwriter who is come up short on creative.
He needs to finish. Yeah, he's hitting writer's block, and he has like a set deadline. Yeah, interesting.
Which then spirals into
madness, murder and mayhem.
Oh man, but yeah. So Martin Mcdonough, not really a lot of films, but I would recommend his films. I mean, from just seeing this, I've been meaning to watch In Bruges. Three Billboards definitely piqued my interest, because it pretty much has like the Coen brothers casting in it. Mm-hmm. It felt like a Coen's brother movie. He's also had a weird Coen's brother feel to him. Burn After Reading.
Oh, in the humor, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and like, sorry, but real quick. So synopsis. Dognapper and screenplay writer endured the wrath of a crime boss whilst writing a screenplay about murderers, and yeah, that's about it.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, even alone, the synopsis is...
Well,
it's a weird plot.
What's really interesting is like the whole plot of like he has this idea for a screenplay of Seven Psychopaths, and when he's kind of like trying to explain it to his friend Billy, it's like, this sounds like a bad movie.
Well, because he doesn't like. He asks him what it's about, and he even says, "I just got the title."
Yeah, exactly.
He's focused on the title. He doesn't have an idea. He just he wants something called Seven Psychopaths. Which
also, think about that. Like another meta layer to this is that this is written by Martin Mcdonough. Colin Farrell's character is named Marty. He's Martin. He's pretty much writing an idea of himself into his own movie that's about making the movie about the movie.
Yeah,
like. Martin, who are these other psychopaths you know? But yeah, I mean, I don't really have much more on Martin Mcdonough, just other than that he was a playwright, and I got shit that I want to read from him now. You want to get into? I mean, yeah, this might be a quick episode. Fuck.
And I always like to say, so the budget at the time was $13 million, and it grossed $33 million internationally, $15 million domestically, and $18 million internationally. Mm-hmm. And that was always very interesting to me. Like, what made it do better there, and then here, and then there? Well, and also internationally too. It's like I found this new website called The Numbers. Mm-hmm. I'll send you the link. You should check it out, because it actually goes and breaks it down by country.
Oh, that's cool.
Not even just internationally as a whole. And it was I looked around it, but it's like it's a lot to take in numbers wise. But it's just interesting to see what does well where.
Oh yeah, I bet.
And it's like, oh, Colin Farrell, like.
It's probably going to do good in Ireland.
Yeah, it might do good in Ireland. And, it's just interesting. But yeah, let's get into Colin Farrell. Let's talk about the cast. And this is a lot of people.
There's a lot of people, but I really think there's only 4 that we need to focus on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's start off with Colin Farrell.
He's our lead, essentially.
He's Marty. He was in The Lobster, which we reviewed most recently. The Batman. He's Penguin.
In Bruges.
In Bruges.
I mean, he's in. Martin Mcdonough has a new movie coming out later this year. I think I saw
the Banshee one.
Yeah, and Colin Farrell's in that.
Okay. Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. So it seems like Colin Farrell and Martin Mcdonough are gonna kind of start working together. Like
Yeah.
Martin Mcdonough. It's himself. Oh yeah, this thing I noticed is he does have a repeating like repertoire of people he works with. Colin Farrell's one of them. Sam Rockwell's one of them. Brendan Gleeson is one of them. Mm-hmm. There's a couple other that were in that list, but those are the ones that popped out in my mind.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
let's go. Yeah, we've already talked about Colin Farrell, get him out. So let's go. Let's do a good talk about Sam Rockwell.
Trying to just explain him to my partner last night.
Yeah, it was like
he's kind of a weird actor. Like I don't think you've really seen. And then I didn't think of bringing up Galaxy Quest.
Oh yeah, that's a movie you much more enjoy than. I mean, I like that movie, but it didn't have as big as impact on me as it did for you apparently.
I don't know what it is. I think it's because like my growing up on Star Trek and my mom was a Trekkie kind of type. She liked Star Trek.
Yeah.
So the satire, it just gets me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like really the humor really gets me. Like the red shirt guy thing, you know.
If other movies Sam Rockwell's been in, Moon, which is kind of a sci-fi drama, really cool, really good. Confessions of a Dangerous Mind. He's like the main bad guy in Green Mile. He is a villainous character in the Green Mile.
Yeah, I mean he's the murderer.
Yeah.
Iron Man 2.
Mm-hmm. Charlie's Angels.
Choke.
And Choke's actually one of my favorite films from him.
I love Choke.
That's also a Chuck Palahniuk book. So
that one's good.
It's a weird movie too. Well, it's just a weird story.
It's Chuck Palahniuk.
Yeah.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
He's in Hitchhiker's Guide?
Yeah, he's the president. But he's got like long blonde hair and
I don't really I remember more, I think, of just like little jokes in that.
I showed that to my partner and she was so confused. This is such a weird movie. She's like, are the dolphins singing? I'm like, they sure are. She's like, what's happening? I'm like, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, man. It's a fucking weird ass.
Yeah, actually, I should read the book. I've never read the book.
I really want to. Yeah, I want to read the book too. But
isn't it like a series of novels? Like, it's not just one.
I think so.
Yeah.
But Alan Rickman as the depressed robot.
Yeah.
Like, that movie's really good.
The answer to life is 42.
Okay. And then probably up next would be Christopher Walken.
Yeah.
Who I don't think we've ever done anything with him, have we?
No. I'm curious, what are the acting credits you wrote down for him?
So for Christopher Walken, I just went off memory. It's kind of an interesting order. Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, it's weirdly weird. The shortest amount of screen time,
but he just makes an impact.
That monologue is just like, because that monologue is just iconic.
Yeah,
and he shoved it up his ass.
If you want to give someone a taste, like, oh, you never seen Pulp Fiction? You want to know kind of like the feeling behind it? Watch that scene. Like,
oh man, I don't know if that's a scene. I mean, that's a good one. I think honestly, the opening dialogue with Travolta and Jackson is more iconic. They really show what that movie kind of is.
Or even just the cheeseburger scene.
Yeah.
English, motherfucker, do you speak it? And I wrote down Suicide Kings, which is probably my favorite Walken movie. Catch Me If You Can.
I don't remember him. Catch Me If You Can.
He's Leonardo DiCaprio's dad.
Oh, okay.
But they just had a really I liked their chemistry.
Yeah.
Together when they were talking as father and son. Mm-hmm. That really stuck out to me. And I really want to, if you like Christopher Walken, I really suggest watching Suicide Kings. That is like,
I don't think I've seen that.
A bunch of like young adults kidnap like this New York mob boss and are like trying to hold him for ransom.
You've talked about this before, I think.
But he's like,
you've told me about this.
Yeah, he's like duct taped to a chair the whole movie, but he's
just intimidating,
terrifying.
Yeah.
And it's so impressive that he's just duct taped to a chair and he's like, when I get out of here, and I will, you'll see what I can do. You're just like, oh, don't let him out. Don't let him out. Don't let him out. He's amazing in that movie.
I'm surprised you haven't said Batman Returns.
Fucking Shrek. Yeah, he's great in that. He's terrifying in that too.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah. That's a great Christopher Walken right there.
Plays the father in Blast from the Past.
God, yeah, he's great in that too.
He's also the dad in Hairspray.
Great in that too. God, Christopher Walken. What a gem.
Remember in Balls of Fury?
Never saw that.
Oh, really?
I don't watch that kind of stuff.
I love that kind of shit.
I know,
you know,
I do. Yeah.
The earlier stuff, the career, like obviously he like his biggest breakthrough is Deer Hunter, which I've never seen.
Deer Hunter.
But then also I remember him in the Dead Zone in the 80s movie.
He fucking would be.
In the Dead Zone?
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, that Christopher Walken. Well, because I'm like, or Prophecy.
Yeah, he's Gabriel in Prophecy. Yeah. Well, you know what the Dead Zone's about?
Yeah, isn't it like a...
He can see the future.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, okay, yeah.
Did you remember there was a USA Network TV show that starred Anthony Michael Hall?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, that show is what made me go back and watch the original.
The original.
Yeah. I was really into USA TV shows for a minute. Burn Notice, Dead Zone.
Yeah, you were. I remember Burn Notice being a thing.
Burn Notice is great.
Did you ever see Prophecy?
I've tried to watch it, but
I've always wanted
it's kind of
to.
slow.
Yeah, I've always wanted to just because he's in it, but
Yeah.
I've tried a couple times and it just feels...
Yeah, it's slow.
Snail's pace, yeah.
Fat Boy Slim music video.
Oh, and he's dancing in the hotel.
Yeah, I think that's a
music
very
video.
iconic thing for Walken as well.
Well, also because he's a trained dancer and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then of
Well,
course,
actually, all of them are apparently.
all of these people.
Yeah, Colin Farrell, but Colin Farrell's a country line instructor.
Are you serious?
That's what I read. I don't know how true that is. I read it online that he likes to do country line dancing.
Well, I mean that's rooted in Irish jig.
Yeah. So, but yeah, apparently like that's his thing.
And that's interesting. Yeah. Sam Rockwell, I can see being a trained dancer.
And he apparently always has like a dancing scene in his movies, which
Sam Rockwell?
Yeah, that was one of those like, did you ever notice things? And I was like, I don't think that's entirely true.
I think that's pretty fucking accurate.
I don't remember having a dancing scene in this.
Either just him just kind of like moving around doing like a little twirl or a twist.
Oh yeah.
Like think about his monologue.
Yeah, and he has
or when he's getting dressed.
He has one in Iron Man too.
Yeah, when he's getting dressed, you know, like it's like a little bit of flair of the character.
Yeah, that it's always like
he puts a little like kick in the step.
Huh, interesting.
Wow, that's really wow. Okay, back to Christopher Walken. Sorry.
I think we got it.
Wait, no. We need more cowbell.
Oh, SNL.
I was like, so I'm trying to think of like iconic Walken things because he's
a walking icon.
Yeah. There's this radio show that
I don't think you can watch movies and not one point see him in something.
There's a quote that's not from Christopher Walken, but somebody doing an impersonation of Christopher Walken that I think is the most like, it's the most Christopher Walken quote that Christopher Walken never said. It's like, Frankenstein never scared me. Marsupials do, because they're fast.
I also like something I love about Christopher Walken too is that he's just one of those guys. And we were watching Hairspray at work. Mm-hmm. It was muted, and I was reading an interview with him, and I hear him.
Oh yeah, you can hear him.
And it's like
if you're reading something he said, it's like you can hear his cadence.
Yeah, it's like he can make sleeper agents. You know what I mean?
Frankenstein never scared me. I love that.
Marsupials do because they're fast.
Yeah, let's go into Woody Harrelson.
Yeah, he's
I think
he's our
villain.
Yeah.
Which I think like I kind of did him as best as I could off memory as well. Like Kingpin, I think it's kind of an I will associate him. I love that movie.
That's Kingpin's great.
Yeah.
Natural Born Killers,
obviously. True Detective will all be like that's like one of my favorite things he's ever fucking done.
Zombieland.
Ed TV with Matthew McConaughey.
I forgot about that.
I love that movie.
Oh, one that I forgot about that I remember, like, oh, that'd be really fun to do. A Scanner Darkly.
Oh man, yeah.
Remember him as this drug addict, and he's all like,
don't remember that movie as well as I. Every time you bring it up, I'm like, I just remember the animation.
That's crazy because it has Robert Downey Jr., Keanu Reeves,
Winona Ryder,
Woody Harrelson. I'm like, that seems like, and it's like this really weird animated movie. Like,
I think it's just like I got. When I saw it when I was in high school, and I think I got way too lost in the animation, and I think just like the story went over my head, so like it didn't really like grasp.
Yeah, that's another movie. There's a lot of layers to it.
Yeah,
like drug addiction and conspiracy and undercover and paranoia and all that kind of stuff.
Cool animation.
Yeah,
or weird animation, I guess. No Country for Old Men. Woody Harrelson. Oh, you've never seen No Country?
No, I did actually. I finally watched it all the way through.
Yeah, he's
who's he?
He's the other. So after Sugar fails to get the money, then he's the other guy that's hired to go search for it. But then Sugar stops him, And there's this scene where Woody Harrelson is like been almost killed by sugar, or he's in the
Josh Brolin, Tommy Lee Jones, Javier Bardem, and then Woody
Harrelson.
So that's the thing. I can picture all three of those, and then there's a character I'm not.
Woody Harrelson's wearing the hat, the cowboy hat.
Okay, yeah. That's who the face is going called like a Scanner Darkly. Okay, I know. Yeah, but God, Woody Harrelson's great too. Natural Born Killers. No, what's weird? Just like now, we have brought up a lot of movies. Not a lot, but quite a few movies with Robert Downey Jr. Just by accident.
Yeah.
Weird, right? Because
he's strangely in a lot of stuff, regardless of the fact that he had his stint in jail and whatnot.
Because he like disappeared for a while.
Yeah.
You know, he was nothing,
and he had a great redemption.
We just brought up like 3 or 4 movies. No, yeah, we brought
Kiss
4.
Kiss Bang Bang,
Iron Man 2, Scanner Darkly, and
Natural Born Killers.
Natural Born Killers. I just realized that's a weird little coincidence.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Sorry. And there's we could do honorable mentions, but there's a lot of people.
I think Abby Cornish would be the.
Yeah, Abby Cornish. I just wrote down Limitless. Tom Waits is in this.
Oh yeah, Tom Waits. Yeah, he has a small role. Terrifying,
He's
weird,
amazing. For Tom Waits, I wrote down Mystery Men.
He's Renfield.
Oh shit, he is Renfield.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Yeah, he has a lot of weird little cameos.
Yeah,
that he does. Oh, Imaginarium Dr. Panassus as the devil. What a great casting.
Yeah,
he was a great devil because he was bald and he had little pointy ears. He's like, hey, how's it going? You know, like smoking a cigarette. Yeah, and I don't want to go down. There's a lot of people.
There's a lot of people, and it's like it's also like a lot of people that's their careers were kind of just starting at the time too. So yeah, I guess what do you got for reviews for this movie?
Let's see if I can read my handwriting. All right, so for reviews, we had 29 positive, 13 mixed, 1 negative, and for the positive, we went with Lisa Schwarzbaum at Entertainment. I'm so sorry if I butchered that. They wrote an energetically demented psycho killer comedy set in noir LA. Seven Psychopaths rollicks along to the unique narrative beat and language stylings of Anglo-Irish writer-director Martin how'd you pronounce it? Martin
Mcdonough.
Martin Mcdonough, channeling Quentin Tarantino, which we kind of covered. It has that like feel to it.
Yeah.
David Denby at New Yorker. Seven Psychopaths is the kind of movie that can lift someone's spirits who's had a crappy day and out of a funk. It's an unstable mess filled with lunatic invention and bizarre nonsense, and some of it is so spontaneous that it's elating.
Yeah, okay.
It's a fun hot mess. That's kind of how I took that.
I was giggling through a lot of this movie. I felt like when Ron Swanson's like giggling and barking.
Oh yeah. And then the negative, Rex Reed at Observer. The result is a twitching convulsion of vicious drivel passing itself off as a movie, which can be best appreciated by the kind of people who dig Showgirls, the Saw franchise, and Spike Jonze Charlie Kaufman flicks. That's quite a review.
It's like a weird put all those movies together. I'm like, whoa, Showgirls mixed with Spike Jonze and Charlie Kaufman. Saw. Like what?
And
it's like he's like, let me find 4 corners of the goddamn cinematic world.
And let me put the knife in and twist it.
Like, okay, man. It's like I kind of agreed with the latter half or the beginning half of that, because I can see some people really not liking this movie because it does it's weirdly, it's not disjointed, but it's just it's just weird. I can see people not liking it, but
I mean, it's like at the end of the day, this movie didn't have to happen.
No, not at all.
It didn't change anything.
No, there's really no message, metaphor, there's no moral lesson learned in this movie.
It wasn't incredibly ambitious where it changed film and,
yeah, no.
It's kind of just
it's just there.
It's just there. I really enjoy it, but yeah.
There is an idea of this but there is highlights of things of Marty's struggle with alcoholism, Like there's like arcs with the characters where you can like find something that you learned from somebody in a weird way.
Well, yeah, but like, I mean, I guess like
there's also just kind of like this acceptance of self.
Well, then it's like Christopher Walken's storyline is kind of interesting. Almost like you can't escape the past as much as you try.
Yeah.
You know, like
this is definitely much more of like a character-driven narrative. Like the narrative that happens in this movie just seems to be like
just happening.
Yeah, the circumstance of their actions.
Yeah.
You know? But like the characters themselves, there's something more. There's a depth to the characters themselves that isn't. It's just kind of it's there and it's presented, but that's not the driving force of the movie.
Yeah,
which is very interesting. It's very interesting. Like,
well, like, and I really don't want to do this, but I think it's just going to keep happening. But it's like, just like, you know, I'm not the biggest Tarantino fan, but I give mad credit to dialogue that he's able to write.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because his dialogue is incredible, and that's also
it's just oddly. If you can write dialogue that is that gets people captivated
and is organic,
like Kevin Smith.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
Like, and that's like one thing about the, like, I really like the being so dialogue. It felt like, especially like, okay, yeah, exactly. Like in actually, that's a perfect Pulp Fiction in this. Mm-hmm. The intro scene is two gangsters, basically, two crime guys just having a conversation, and it feels
natural.
Like they're just, and like in this, the movie starts off with these two people, and they're waiting to kill this woman, and they're just very casually.
Yeah, they're two hitmen just very casually talking about.
Like Tommy and Larry, I think, are their names.
So yeah, or
something.
Kenneth, and so.
Yeah, well, whatever.
Yeah, their names are. It's actually it's moot. Yeah, because they literally die within the first 5 minutes.
Yeah,
if that.
But yeah, they're talking about like, well, you going all like shady on me because we're gonna kill a woman? Nah, I didn't say that. Like, and they start talking about torture devices in Cuba, and it's just
he's like, no, it's like those are the people that the communists push those people out, and he's like, what's up? What's wrong with you today?
Yeah, man, you're in a mood today, you know. And there's just this organic thing about the dialogue, and that's what makes this movie really fascinating. Is that
well, what's really great with this movie too is that introduction, it sets up the expectations of this movie is I don't expect anything, because generally what you're like one of the first characters you see is going to be your lead character, you know. Mm-hmm. So when we have this establishment of like two people, two hitmen. The movie's called Seven Psychopaths. They're kind of talking like psychopaths because they're hitmen.
Yeah, and
then just out of nowhere, just this dude in a red fucking mask,
fucking Red Hood shows up behind
fucking
them,
blasts their fucking heads open. You know, and drops the Jack of Diamonds, which I fucking loved that calling card. I loved dude, and also I called who that was really quick.
I was wondering if you did, but
very quickly.
But watching it, I didn't really like. I don't know if I didn't catch it, and I don't know if I was paying enough attention. But this time watching it again, I was like, oh, he's wearing the same fucking jacket the entire movie.
Yeah.
So okay, yeah, like clearly they weren't trying to, but it's like I don't think they're trying to hide that from the audience. It was really just he was hiding it from the characters. Like I don't think it was. Didn't I don't know. But I loved it, like, that shot, too. I was like, fucking Red Hood showing up in here. All right.
No,
but he was wearing the leather jacket, the red hood, the two pistols.
I was really, really, really hoping. I went back and watched it. But, like, because one of them was talking about how, like, they shot someone through an eye and, like, how fucked up that was. And everyone's like, no, I shot someone in the ear once.
Well, the boss once...
Oh, to shoot her in the eye.
Because it was like, he knew, and I looked into her, he told me exact words. When I looked in her eyes, I knew that she was the one, and I was fucked. So when you're done putting her in the ground, shoot at her eyes. The exact words. And then, you ever shot someone in the eye? Stabbed someone in the ear once. That's not what I asked you. You know, it's like, that's that organic kind of like,
yeah, exactly.
This is unnerving how casually they're talking about this.
And I thought when the Jack of Diamonds showed up, and the way that one of the guy first turned and how he shot, it looked like for a split second that one of them was shot through the eye and the other one was shot through the ear.
Was that?
It wasn't. And I was like, oh, that would have been so cool.
That would have been cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we have this movie. That's the first 5 minutes of this movie. So we are now pretty much told that's like, okay, so we can't expect. We have like there's no like our expectations are just broken for this movie. Like we now know this world is violent. We now know that there's people that have witty dialogue. and
anyone can die at any moment.
And there's gonna be, and that dialogue is gonna be very fucking graphic.
Yeah. And this is when we're basically like introduced to Marty, our screenplay character played by Colin Farrell. And Marty is Irish got alcoholism. You're fucked. What did Americans get? Tolerance.
Yeah, right. Jesus.
And Marty is alcoholic, struggling with, like we were saying, writer's block, and he's trying to create this screenplay with just the title, Seven Psychopaths. And then we're also introduced to
his girlfriend, what's her name?
Kaya.
And
that's Cornish. That's
Abby Cornish.
Yeah, Abby Cornish.
And also, is his name Billy?
Billy. That was what I was trying to remember. Billy. Sam Rockwell.
Sam Rockwell's character, Billy, who is a little off kilter.
Yeah, like he comes off just very eccentric.
Yeah.
And kind of like almost like AD, needing some ADD medication. Like just needs a little help focusing.
A little honest, a
little too honest.
Yeah.
And Colin Farrell is pretty much like, they make it very clear that he drinks to the point of
he doesn't really remember what.
Yeah, like actual like blacking out, but not like blackout pass out. Like he's still functioning and talking and doing shit he probably shouldn't be.
Yeah,
because
like what alcoholics do.
Yeah, so he wakes up and he looks at Kaya and is like, "What, are you pissed at me, baby?" "Well, no, why would I be pissed at you?" And he's like, kind of like, "What the fuck did I do?"
Same wrong, because she's a bitch.
Like, don't call her that.
Well, I'm just,
she's a fucking bitch. He really, Billy does not like Kaya.
But then they get along at the party really well.
And we find out that
and Billy's he's an actor. Or was trying to be an actor, I guess. But
yeah,
like, how do you expect to get a job if you keep punching every fucking casting director that you meet?
He's like, I didn't mean to break his nose. His nose was just in the way of where I was hitting. Like, he has like this weirdly weird logic that's really like, it's funny in a movie, but you would be terrified to have
if
this
you
as a
met
friend.
the real person.
Yeah, like this would be a friend you'd be kind of nervous around. But like, you also find out that Billy is a dog napper.
Well, that's his new thing right now. He's always it's his new hustle.
Yeah, so they go to I thought it was funny, La Brea tar pits. Remember, you didn't know they were real.
That's I wasn't sure. Yeah,
live action hero.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they go to La Brea tar pits, and he steals dogs to later collect the reward.
Yeah, him and Christopher Walken. Have this.
Hans is his cohort. So Billy steals the dogs, and Hans, the nice older man, goes and returns the dog and gets the reward.
The sympathy.
And, like he would never do that. He's my grandpa.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Grandpa. Sorry.
Oh, from.
Yeah. So that's kind of like the dynamic that we kind of learned there. And the story kind of unfolds like you find that Marty, he's down and out, or he's at writer's block. He has to get the script done, and that's when you get introduced. He's like, I have this cool title, Seven Psychopaths, and like he's like, well, what's it about? I'm like, I don't know, just have the fucking title.
Yeah, that's not gonna help. And Billy really wants to help him write this, so he suggests using this. Do you hear about this wacko, this Jacko Diamonds?
Yeah,
the mafia killing, and that's what I mean. They weren't trying to hide it from you because I caught it the second time around. He's giving.
Well, when do you think I was able to guess who that it was him?
I mean, I could say this moment.
No, it wasn't that moment.
No, because maybe it's because I watched it the second time, but like he's like, yeah, he only kills mid to high ranking level.
Oh, he's very specific. Like he's
like super specific, and then like he goes to write it down. And he goes, "Oh, the Yakuza," or Yakuza. He's getting a quote. Yeah. He's quoting. He's making it very clear what he does.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, that was kind of clever."
That is clever, yeah.
But then there's that fucking line where he's like, "No, Yakuza. I don't want to deal with Japanese dialogue." And he does not say Japanese. He says something else.
Oh yeah.
I was like,
Martin Mcdonough's from the UK. They're not as PC over there sometimes. I pieced it together when Woody Harrelson's guys busted into the dog area, and then when he shows up there.
Oh,
I was like, that was a little too serendipitous.
Yeah, like how?
Yeah,
that's fair.
Yeah, I was like, and then I was like, that's when I noticed the jacket as well. I was like, wasn't that
the brown leather jacket?
I was like, oh, that's definitely him.
Yeah,
that's clearly.
God, loved that.
They don't really like hide it too long as well. You learn it pretty early on as well.
You learn. That's what I'm saying. You as the audience member learns it. It takes the characters longer to figure it out.
Oh yeah, the characters don't know until
they bend basically.
Where are we at? So yes.
So we're introduced to this dog napping business, and we're also before the party. We see that Billy has this cute little Shih Tzu in his apartment.
Yeah.
And then we cut to this is where we basically meet Woody Harrelson, who is very Woody Harrelson.
Well, really, I think let's also establish that Marty, with the idea of the Seven Psychopaths, he has this idea for like he wants each psychopath to kind of like be their own thing, but he wants this movie he wants this movie to be more about finding peace, and it's like he has this idea of like he wants all these psychopaths that are like murderers, but he wants this movie to not be violent.
Yeah.
And
like the whole shootout scene. No, what? No shootout.
We'll get there because that's actually in that car scene is one of my favorite for the fucking movie. And like his first psychopath he's thinking about was this a Buddhist monk.
Yeah, a Buddhist monk is the first one.
And it's like, okay, well, why is he a psychopath? Like, what? What? We don't get it. Like Billy's like, I don't get it.
And it doesn't seem like Marty gets it either.
Yeah, like Marty's he's talking out of his ass most of this for like like when even when he's at the party and he's kind of explaining it. And since he's already kind of an acclaimed writer, they just like people are just around him are just going to be yes men. You're just like like shoveling the shit for him.
Well, yeah, but also like there's this other one where it's the Quaker one where you kind of realize what Marty gets like when he's drinking. Billy gives him this story about another psychopath, and it's a Quaker that basically daughter was murdered, and he then the Quaker stalks the murderer for like 17 years, and then inevitably causes the murderer to commit suicide.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, sorry, sorry, I just remembered something. Yeah. This is going back. It's like the first psychopath is the Jack of Diamonds, and then his second psychopath he decides is going to be this Quaker guy. But it starts off as the Buddhist, the monk, and then he goes like he's crossed down like preacher, and then he goes Quaker, and then this story comes into his mind of the Quaker that you were just talking about.
Yeah, and so there's this. That's like his. So he ends up making the killer kill himself, and then he kills himself. There's like this whole like story again. The theme of revenge is this is when it kind of starts coming up. But when they're at the party and he's drunk, he starts telling the story like he came up with it like a pompous dick. And then Billy walks up, and I can't remember
because he thinks he came up with it. He doesn't remember really telling the story.
Yeah, and then he's like being like a dick to Billy. What? Like you don't get it?
Oh yeah, because Billy's like, oh, that's a great fucking story. Yeah, like fucking original. Ha ha ha. And then Marty's all now being a dick to him. He's like, what the fuck? Like Billy doesn't get. He's like, Billy's like, do you? In Billy's mind, you can see he's like, do you seriously not remember?
But I got the vibe like he didn't like he didn't get the aggression.
That Billy didn't get the aggression?
Like Billy didn't understand why Marty, like he was honest to God confused just about why his friend was being like this towards him.
Yeah.
Because then he leaves the party. Then we cut to Marty is now waking up in Billy's apartment and has been kicked out for his...
Because he called his girlfriend a bitch.
And that's where now. So now we're at so there's this whole like back and forth about that. But this is my favorite scene.
Yeah, sorry.
What?
I was like, there's like Billy keeps calling her a fucking bitch because when Marty's blackout drunk, they probably just talk about how much she's a bitch.
Yeah.
And so when he's sober and he's like, don't fucking call her a bitch. He's like, what the fuck's your deal, man? You were just calling her a bitch last night.
Yeah. That's the thing is like it's just the way that his like Billy's brain works. It's just different. He just is he's different. But like they end up at the dog where they keep all the dogs they steal, and I just love that where Sam Rockwell's Billy's laying down with the Shih Tzu and he's talking about like point 1, you're a writer. Point 2, you're Irish. You're fucked.
Oh yeah,
like that whole
he's bringing up his alcoholism.
Like Irish people are alcoholics. It was just so like.
Well, like Marty the entire time is he's like, I'm not an alcoholic. I just enjoy to drink.
Yeah, like he's in denial about his drinking.
So before all of this, we do need to bring up two things. I think is Hank continuously goes and visits his wife in the hospital.
Yes,
who is dying of cancer. or she's in a cancer ward, I guess. Like she's kind of recovering. She might.
Yeah,
be.
It kind of implies that she might be going through remission.
Yeah.
Like she needs tests done, but she might be going through. Yeah, no, yeah, she's going through. She's waiting for the results for her remission.
That's right. And like the money that they're doing for this dog napping thing is like a lot of it's going to her.
Yeah, for her treatments.
And we also get introduced to Woody Harrelson's character because his dog Bonnie,
the Shih Tzu,
is missing.
Yeah,
and he's fucking great, dude. That entire scene when he's like, that woman is just crying.
What's her name
from American Horror Story?
Yeah, and what's her big? I'm totally blanking on the name of the movie.
Oh, she Precious?
Yeah. She's in Precious.
I've never seen Precious. Okay.
Yeah. She's like the dog. That's what we're saying. There's a lot of these kind of weird little cameos throughout.
Well, even like the guy that's like his one of his like right hand men in that scene, he's he's in The Departed.
Kevin
Corrigan.
Yeah, Kevin Corrigan. Like he's in it.
He's in Superbad.
Just random.
He's the brother in the sitcom that I
like it's a movie that it's weird. It's like a movie where you will pretty much every side character you'll recognize from something.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah,
more or less. Like anyone that actually has like dialogue. You're
like even the Quaker in the story is like an actor that looks,
or even his right hand man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like there's a lot of people in this movie that. Yeah. But it's funny. Like you'll look at a lot of them and be like, I know you, but I don't know who you are.
Yeah, exactly.
You know
exactly.
But yeah, we meet Woody Harrelson and he's a fucking
psycho. He's a mob boss psycho.
Yeah, like he's an angry psycho.
Yeah, he's a crime lord type.
Yeah, he's not like a sadist psycho. He's a murder. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean there's a calmness to him, but he's like
he'll kill you. He'll kill you without batting an eye.
It's like literally it's like he'll actually say like and now I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, and it's not like
there's no like it's not like a oh like, please don't kill me. He's like no, he's not saying it. He's just telling us like and now this is what's going to happen.
It's almost like it's not even
it's a matter of fact.
Yeah, and it's not like a fetishized killing. He's not going to torture you for pain. Yeah. He'll just straight up shoot you in the head.
He's like
all right, I'm done.
This conversation's over.
Yeah, and I'm now going to shoot you.
Yeah.
And which, he's just a ticking time bomb of anger. And the only thing he has any kind of love to is his little Shih Tzu. Yeah. So he goes on a hell-bent rampage to get this dog back. Yeah. He did let the dog sitter go, which
That's
I was
kind
of surprised about.
Because she takes care of the dog. Maybe he actually has a soft spot.
Yeah, like or that, I loved Bonnie like she was he was my own child. That's an image I don't want in my fucking head.
Yeah. So essentially they find out through Kevin Kerrigan's character where he's like, no, actually someone was telling me that there's been this weird like dog napping thing happening at the tar pits.
Yeah, he's like, and you didn't think to mention this
until now?
Well, I was chasing down her. Like I didn't have time to. It's like, would you please go inquire about my fucking dog? And he's like, yeah.
Sorry.
Yep. Yeah, boss. Which also is like, again, with dialogue is like this thing of like, he will murder you.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah.
Like now. This should have been done yesterday.
So this is when. So with the Quaker story, I think this is like the violence kind of. There's actually not a lot of violence in this. It's violent, but there's not a lot of violence. There's actually a lot more dialogue than there is violence.
I would say, I'd say there's a good amount of violence, but there is more dialogue.
Yeah, the scenes that are violent are they're violent.
Yeah, they're like Kill Bill violent.
Yeah. It's like when Jacket Diamond.
Sorry, Tarantino again. God damn it.
I feel like there is probably some inspiration that Martin Mcdonough took from Tarantino. It's very Tarantino-esque, When Jackie Diamonds busts into the dog napping ring and whatnot, because like the mafia guys find the place, and it's while Marty is there alone.
Yeah, they like bust in,
and Marty's like, ah! Oh, I know. They find Hans on the street returning a dog. So they're like, we're gonna take you back to your fucking place. We're getting this dog back.
Yeah. And like also just I have to say I think my favorite character in this is Christopher Walken, because even when they do bust in there and immediately Marty starts pissing his pants and is like, I'll tell you everything you know, and he's just like, I don't know if you do or do not know where the dog is, but have some pride, you know, like don't be that guy,
and so like Colin Farrell is just like freaking out through like this is where like he starts becoming the like the passenger in this crazy ride of what Billy and Hans have done.
And what's funny too, it's like it's not even Billy and Hans, it's Billy.
Yeah,
Hans
that's true.
was unaware of like said situation.
Yeah, but like was Hans is the man behind the dog napping.
Yeah,
charade.
but I got the feeling that Billy, because he's dating, like he did it on his own accord.
Like getting Bonnie. Yeah,
Like he took Bonnie without Hans's knowledge.
Because he didn't.
He even says we never had a Shih Tzu in here.
Yeah,
because it's like again, it's like stealing Bonnie is.
It's a fuck you to.
It's
Woody.
Billy's vendetta.
What's Harold's character's name?
Oh, Charlie.
Charlie.
It's like it's his vendetta against Charlie is stealing his fucking dog that he loves so much.
Yeah. Is this vendetta only just because of the girlfriend?
He's an agent of chaos. That's
yeah. I don't think about it. It's like he starts calling Bonnie his dog. As well.
Yeah, which is also really funny. You're not taking my fucking dog.
The Jack of Diamonds comes in and kills the fucking guys that are holding up the mafia that are holding which is on par with what the Jack of Diamonds has been doing. Now I'm actually kind of realizing something. The two guys at the beginning of the movie were probably fucking Charlie's guys.
Oh yeah, they never actually say
who. Yeah.
So maybe Charlie was already planning.
It's like,
no, but I feel like Charlie would just kill himself.
Maybe he was too busy for it.
No, true. Life of a mob boss, things get crazy.
Oh, fucking shit. And this like just blood spraying everywhere because he just like blows their fucking heads off and like drops the Jack of Diamonds cards and just gets the fuck out.
Yeah.
And Colin Farrell's like,
just like covered in blood.
Freaks out when Hans takes him over to Billy's house and he's like, Marty, are you okay? And he's like, he's fine. That's not his blood.
The vomit is. That's not his blood.
Okay, well let's get you washed up. Do you want to get washed up?
Actually, we actually did forget one really important thing.
This Zachariah was before this, wasn't he?
No, that's coming up. But what we forgot to mention is while they're at right before Marty's loan and there's that whole they're chit chatting about alcoholism and whatever. He's reading the paper and then Billy freaks out and he's like. So that's why he leaves. He's like, there might be something.
I gotta go see my girlfriend. There might be something in the newspaper on page 7.
Don't be mad.
Tribune. Don't be mad.
But you might want a moment. And then he turns into an advertisement that Billy has put out to interview psychopaths.
That's for Marty.
So he basically
Marty's script. Yeah.
He basically is like, hey, all psychopaths, are you deranged? Are you mental? Well, come on down.
Yeah.
And so that's how we start getting introduced to more of these of the 7 psychopaths. And at this point,
when does he tell the story about the Vietnamese preacher or priest?
Kind of throughout.
Yeah, because that's actually that story itself. I feel like there's something that should be in that story that is kind of like the grounding center for this movie, like the message of that.
It kind of is though. Once Hans changes it.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm still like, then what's like? But I'm having a hard time tangibly understanding what it is. And when we get there, maybe we just talking about it, we'll be able to figure it out. You might be able to guide me because I think you have a stronger sense on it than I do, possibly.
Okay. Well, so at this point, they get Colin Farrell cleaned up and they go to a bar, a restaurant, and they're talking about what they're going to do. Colin Farrell's like, we should call the cops. And they're like,
fuck the cops.
Yeah. Number one, Christopher Walken swearing as much as he does in this movie, I just really enjoy. It's like when I watched Wanted and Morgan Freeman goes, kill this motherfucker. And I was just like, Morgan. It's just, I'm like, no. But I do like that Billy's like, oh yeah, call the cops. How about we sober up? Maybe we should start there. Yeah.
I was like, that's a leap.
Yeah. But he's like, he's right. Sober up. So they're trying to figure out what to do, and they get back to Billy's house.
It's kind of like sober up. Let's talk about things that are not going to happen.
I didn't take it that way. That's very funny. So they show back after this whole thing. They're like figuring out what to do. They show back to Billy's house, and this is where we're introduced to Tom Waits, who's just sitting outside the house, like petting a bunny.
Yeah,
not creepy at all.
Also, the fact that how Billy just leaves him alone with Zachariah. And then him.
Well, like, but also the thing like that too. He's like, "Oh, I'm here to be interviewed or whatever." He's like, "You're not one of the crazy ones, right?" And he's like, no." And he's like, "You didn't talk about taking out my heart, eating it, and taking a shit on it." "Oh, no, I wouldn't do that." "Okay, you seem normal. Come on in."
I love, but how like nonchalant he starts talking about how him and his wife went around the United States just killing serial killers.
They're serial killers.
Yeah. And how it kind of like eventually it got too hard for him, and she wanted to continue doing it.
I think it was also like it became she was like I think it was like this like self-righteous, we're doing the right thing, but then it became clear she was enjoying it.
Yeah,
and it wasn't like that was the disconnect. It was because like even there's that he's sawing off the head.
Yeah,
it's like she's taking pleasure out of causing the pain.
It's like it's like there's no reason for us to be sawing his head off. A bullet to the head will do the same.
Yeah, like I think he was kind of like that because like, and then apparently this couple solved the 40-year-old ongoing Zodiac killing thing,
right.
Which they still haven't solved that, have they?
There's someone, if I remember correctly, I think there is someone that is very much could be it, but he's already dead, so there's no way to like
100%.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
it's not like the Green River Killer. Or who was it that Patton Oswalt's wife?
Oh, the Golden Gate.
Golden State. Golden Gate.
Yeah.
Golden Bridge.
The Golden State Killer.
Golden Gate Bridge.
The Golden State Killer.
Golden State Killer.
Golden State Killer.
Psychopaths. Anywho.
And it goes like, listen here, motherfuckers. Frothing at the
Well, actually, another, like kind of thinking about, like, Zachariah's story and the importance of that is also... That's kind of like a reflection of Sam Rockwell's character as the Jack of Diamonds.
How so?
The feeling of necessity of killing people that are killing people.
Oh, yeah. Fair.
You know?
Well, then, like, so he tells this whole story, and he's like, "Marty, you can use it, but basically, I need you to put a message to my wife. I miss her. I'm sorry. I should have kept killing people with her.
Yeah.
I made a mistake." And he's like, "I
Put
swear
my number up there.
I swear on my life I'll do it." And he's like, "Oh, it's quite a claim."
Yeah.
And you're like, "That's coming back around."
Right.
Like, that's not done. Yeah, that's God. This movie's really hard to talk about only because it is so dialogue heavy.
Yeah. Because, like, the next part, I mean, I feel like we can really just kind of flash through the rest of this movie now. Because I'm trying to remember how. Well, oh fuck. You find out that Hans is the fucking Quaker.
Oh no! First, what happens is after this whole interview, we cut to Billy and
he's with the
girlfriend,
Mm-hmm.
which I forgot to write her name down, but she's also someone you'd recognize.
Helena Matson. No. That's the blonde.
She's a very Russian name.
Excuse me. Olga.
Something.
Yeah.
Like she was in Hitman.
Yeah.
Movie. It's like what I recognize her from. But you find out that his girlfriend is also Charlie's girlfriend.
Mm-hmm. So Billy's been sleeping with Charlie. Also,
that's what I'm saying. He has his vendetta is Charlie.
God, what the fuck does he say to her that pisses her off?
He can't get an erection, and he's like, "I hate these condoms," and she's like, "Oh, don't worry, baby, I trust you." And he's like, "While you're still sleeping with that fucking maniac?
Yeah, where the fuck is...
Who knows what he's giving you?"
Yeah.
He says something like... And then he justifies it, but it's like, I'm not saying like HIV or anything. I'm saying like chlamydia.
No,
Baby, I just made chlamydia.
No, I love that he says that while and he's like, "Well, I'm not saying like chlamydia or something like." And then she's sitting all like angry, and he sits down next to her and kind of cuddles up. He's like, "I'm saying like something like chlamydia,
just like petting her hair."
Yeah,
it's just
you fucking psychopath.
Yeah, like he did a really great job of just like, how does this dude's brain work? Like,
well, he is murdering people.
Yeah.
We find out in this scene pretty much.
Yeah, so he admits that he took Charlie's Shih Tzu, Bonnie, played by Bonnie. And she freaks out and is like, "You don't understand." And he's like, "Well, you're the one sleeping with a psychopath. 2 psychopaths.
Yeah.
I'm sleeping with 2 psychopaths." And she's like, "I'm going to call him and clear this all up." And he's like, no.
Oh, that's right. Because it's when we they find out. So Charlie, when they're like looking at the crime, like the crime scene of the dog place where their guys got murdered.
They figure out that Hans's wife is in the cancer ward, so
Yeah.
Hans goes to wait it out for Hans to show up to visit her.
Charlie goes to wait it
Charlie,
out.
yeah. And there's
very tense scene.
It's a great scene.
It's a great scene. Because it's great since she's a black woman
and her last name is Polish.
Yeah, it's because she took Hans's last name.
Yeah,
so married.
So he assumes that it's going to be a white woman.
Mm-hmm.
So when he walks into the hospital room, there's 2 beds, but on one of them is a black woman,
mm-hmm.
and he just assumes that that's not who he's looking for.
Yeah.
But then through this really,
and she plays it off really well.
Yeah, and through this really tense dialogue and the way she's acting, he puts it together that that is the wife.
Yeah.
And he basically just murders her.
Yeah,
because she doesn't have the information that he wants. Where the dog is, doesn't know when Hans is going to come back. So he just straight up shoots her. And he has this whole plan of staying in the hospital and kind of waiting it out. And then Christopher Walken walks by and plays it off really well, casually, keeps walking past the room. Next shot is him sitting on the ground with holding her with no emotion.
I feel like there was emotion to it. It was just defeat.
No, yeah, but I mean, he wasn't crying. He was just you looked at him, he was just stone cold blank face. But then again, this whole sequence is great too, because then he goes and he sits across in the lobby from Charlie and is just staring at him, and he's like, "You need something, man?" "No, I don't need anything." And then he asks about his cravat. He's like, "Hey, what is that?" "I like that," because he's always wearing a cravat. And he's like, "Oh, I like that. What is it?" "Oh, it's a cravat. Here, you have it." And he takes it off, and there's a reveal that he has a slice across his throat, just like the Quaker story. And you're like, "That's the Quaker," which was kind of cool.
Yeah.
You're like, what? Because that one would never have guessed.
Oh no, not at all.
No, but I was like, holy shit, the Quaker story is real.
As soon as he started taking off the cravat, though, I was like,
what's happening? So yeah, you find out that this another psychopath has been amongst us the whole time.
It's interesting that you don't that you don't really see him. I felt that was his lack of crying, sad emotion, I saw as intense revenge emotion.
Oh, rage, yeah.
Complete it was
rage.
but a very controlled.
Yeah.
I even felt that even when he's sitting there holding her, just kind of
I could see that. So yeah, so then cutting back to the girlfriend thing, she decides to go call Charlie and fix this whole thing up. This is when Billy, this is really sad too. Billy gets a call from Hans, and Hans says, "Yeah, we're cancer free, basically." And he's all like, "Oh, that's great, buddy. I'm really glad to hear that." And he's like, "Yeah, but she's dead. Somehow he must have figured out, put it together, and he shot her in the head." Very just kind of monotone.
Also, Billy or Marty hearing that just.
Yeah, it's like,
what the fuck did I just hear?
Very casual. And then this is when Billy just goes around and shoots the girlfriend in the stomach and then calls an ambulance for her. And we basically
leaves the Jack of Diamonds.
Yeah, and this is now kind of the end of the movie where they take off to the desert to go hide out.
Yeah. Well, what's great about this is, one, before that, they're all at the bar. Before they take off, and Marty is talking about this script, and
the Quakers.
Hans is very interested. He's like, wants to hear this Quaker story.
Well, he wants to hear they're talking about religion because Hans is very religious, and he's like, "I don't really have any heaven or hell stories. I mean, I guess they kind of." He's like, "That's okay. I like stories. Tell me a story."
Yeah.
And he starts telling the Quaker story, and then Billy shows up and kind of has
He's like, "No, stop, no, don't." And Han's like, "No, I want to hear the rest of his story."
And so he finishes the story, and as he's trailing off to the end of it, he again takes off his
cravat
and shows
the scar.
So there's some things that aren't correct about that story.
Yeah.
He's like, "Let me clarify for you.
Yeah.
What's wrong?"
And Marty's just like, looks over at Billy like, "What the fuck?"
I like how he typically takes his drink in the little straw, and he
oh yeah, Billy.
No, Marty. He's like,
"Oh, that's right."
Just kind of I'm sorry. But yeah, at this point, this also just sounded like fun. They go to the desert,
but their conversation in the car is where it gets super meta. Because they're it's when also Marty fucking reads Billy's fucking diary and starts realizing that he's kind of fucking off kilter.
Yeah.
And because he's it's note to self, don't burn the neighbor's flag. Don't set the neighbor's flag on fire.
And Marty looks up and it's been burned.
It's been burned. He's just like, okay, this.
But then there's also sweet moments too, be a better friend to Marty.
Yeah.
He's going through a lot. Yada,
Yeah.
yada, yada.
And just the only thing I want is I would love for Marty to just ask me to write a movie
and like keep him focused.
Yeah.
And but no, he even says stop bothering him about writing a script. If he wants your help, he'll ask for it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, that keep him focused. That's why you've been killing these people or some shit. Like,
but then they go back to the car scene. At this point now, Hans and Marty are in the back seat, and he's like talking to him about just the movie.
No, and he's like, Hans, do you want? Oh, well, Marty does ask Billy, like, would you like to write this movie? And Billy's like, do you mean that?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. And a car chase scene also happens, doesn't it? They're like trying to get away from them for a minute, aren't they?
No, they miss each other.
That's right.
Billy picks them up, and then right after they drive off.
That's right, because they're coming to Billy's place.
Yeah, get the dog. And this is like where now you like see Charlie is like hysterically crying over his dog, and this is the first time you've seen emotion besides anger.
And they also like, dude, boss, you're not gonna like this, but like this guy's got like 100 decks of cards, and the Jack of Diamonds missing from all of them.
And this is when it's revealed to us as the audience that he is the Jack.
No, it was revealed when he shoots her because he gives her the Jack of Diamonds.
Right. Yeah. Okay, right. This is when they figure out who. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Because he's psychopath number 1 and psychopath number 7.
Yeah.
So, like they're talking about like Marty. Billy's like, "What? No, you asked me to write the movie with you."
Well, because he even asks Billy kind of like
jealous.
Reluctantly, and he asks Hans like, "Oh, I really want your help.
Yeah, I really want your opinion." And he's like, "What? No." And then he's like, and then I think it's Marty that says like, it's like at some point, like I feel like in this movie is when the main characters just like drive off into the middle of nowhere and spend the rest of the movie just talking about what needs to happen.
Yeah.
And that's what fucking happens.
And then it's also I don't want to shoot out.
Yeah.
He's like, what?
You want it? You want to shoot out?
No. He's like viscerally upset about it.
Yeah. But like that's when like weirdly in this movie, then you realize you're watching the movie that he's writing is the movie you're watching.
Yeah.
So then the movie becomes about itself. It becomes meta. It's like episodes.
Yeah. The TV show episodes.
Yeah.
Not general episodes. But yeah, and this is like this whole kind of cool little like they're just in the desert and they're all kind of working on their own like.
Oh, and Marty's agreed he's going to stay sober until
everything's taken care of. Like,
and he's actually doing good on it.
Billy's working on his like version of the script. Hans is like really like thinking about this Vietnamese priest character,
and it's kind of like a sounding board as well.
Yeah, and they're just like talking, and then at one point around the fire.
Oh my god.
We get to have Billy's screenplay, and it's in a cemetery.
No,
and
it's his shootout scene.
Yeah, so he writes his shootout scene, and they actually like show you what's going on, and it's utterly ridiculous,
over the top, violent, and
it's like the most violence in the movie.
Yeah, like he's talking about like how it's like the Jack of Diamonds is there, and he's told Charlie to show up, but like with nobody there. But of course he double crossed him, and he shows up with everybody and all of his guns and whatnot, which then also doesn't happen.
And then, boom, psychopath, boom, coming out of all the fucking graves.
And Marty, you're just there, just kind of watching and writing.
Observing because you're a pacifist and fuck you. And but anyway, so you're just there writing. And then Kaya shows up, and it's like, oh, and the rain. And like, we're saying it like this because this is the energy that he is like.
Yeah, he's just like
narrating it.
Yeah.
But like, and then starts to rain, and then Kaya shows up, and of course Kaya's wearing a white T-shirt with no bra because it's fucking Billy's head, and then boom, 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 she goes fucking down. She like,
oh no, she's like yelling. It's like, you're a fucking asshole, you fucking prick. Why do you? Yeah, you fucking all you're drinking, la da 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 da, and and he's like, and yeah, then the shooter's pound, she gets shot to the chest, and
she's like fucking mowed down,
just fucking done.
And then you're like, screw this pacifist, and you throw your paper and you pull out your guns, and it's ridiculous. And then
I love just what the Marty's face, Colin Farrell's face, just listening to like, oh yeah.
Well, like I like he keeps like also in the scene I really enjoy it, the kind of subtle like acting of it. Colin Farrell keeps like looking at Christopher Walken, kind of like this guy's out of his fucking mind. Yeah. But Christopher Walken has a light little smile on his face, like he's really like he's honestly like, kind of enjoying it.
Yeah.
And at the end he asks for like constructive criticism, and he's just like, I liked it.
There's layers.
There's layers to it. There's layers.
Colin Farrell. Layers.
Yeah. Layers.
Yeah, layers.
Yeah.
No, and then like when they're driving to get like supplies the next day, and he's like, that story was fucking bonkers. They're just like laughing about it.
Yeah.
This is kind of when like things kind of with what do they, how, man, yeah, we need to really like kind of finish up to get through it.
Yeah, so let's just, okay, so by the end of this movie,
I mean, Charlie ends up figuring out where they're at, and it's because Sam Rockwell like calls him, and he blows up the car so they can't get out of there.
Because I forget
what the falling out was. Oh, they figure out that he's the Jack of Diamonds.
He orchestrates that they're gonna have a shootout.
Yeah,
they figure out that he's Jack of Diamonds. Christopher Hans was doing peyote, and Billy was fucking with him, pretending to be his wife.
Yeah, that's right.
And basically made him start questioning his faith. Mm-hmm. So Hans gets angry once he admits, he's like, Billy's whole thing is don't be angry, and it usually means he did something fucked up.
Yeah.
So Hans just says like, fuck this, and he wanders through the desert.
Yeah, walks off.
And then is around this time, Charlie has shown up to the campsite, I guess you could call it. This is all in Joshua Tree, by the way. With
no men, no guns, nothing
but a flare gun.
And Billy's like, what? Where's my I wanted my shootout, man.
Yeah, he's all pissed off that they're not going to do this. He ends up shooting Charlie.
Yeah.
And so Marty's like, no, we can't let him die. So he tries taking him to the hospital, and that's when Billy realizes the flare gun is a signal. Mm-hmm. So he shoots it off so the guys will come running. But right before this, Hans ran into the the bad guys, and they're like, put your hands up. No. But I gotta have a gun. I don't care. That doesn't make any sense. Too bad. It's like one of the best lines in the movie.
Just stubborn old man like, no, I'm not going to do that.
And they end up killing Hans and right in front of the cops. So the bad guys do show up, and there is like this whole shootout and so on and so forth. And that's kind of
no, they shoot Hans. Yeah, he already said that.
Yeah, Hans.
Shoot Hans, and yeah, they go up there. The shootout actually happens. Marty, everybody dies at the shootout. Right? Except for Marty. I forget. Yeah, Marty gets in the car and drives out. Yeah. Because
because Hans and Charlie and his guy get arrested.
That's right.
Marty takes off. Mm-hmm. Billy's killed. He gets shot in the head.
Yeah. And then while he's dying with a gunshot wound to the head, he gets Bonnie to finally do the paw trick he's been asking for.
A shake.
Paw.
He gets a shake.
No, also I love how Charlie's like trying to get Bonnie to come over to him, and Bonnie's staying with
her new
Billy.
dad.
Yeah, just like,
or his new dad.
Yeah.
Bonnie's a boy.
But yeah, this thing is like, so Hans left the sound recorder with a message for Marty about who this Vietnamese priest was. And he starts going through the story about how the Vietnamese priest.
So originally, yeah, the priest originally was like killing hookers, and then it changed into was gonna do a terrorist attack on like a summit peace meeting Vietnam with a bunch of military members,
because he's from the Viet Cong.
Yeah, and then Hans basically changes it to he shows up with to blow up this thing and starts dousing gasoline, and when it splashes on him, he suddenly is transported back to Vietnam, and he is one of the priests, the first priest to ever in protest light himself on fire.
Yeah, in protest of the
war.
Yeah, the peaceful protest is the only act of violence that a Buddhist monk would do would be to light themselves on fire. Yeah,
but
which I forgot was an actual thing.
Yeah, but it basically gives Marty this
anchor
back into this whole idea of the psychopaths, but with underlining the peace.
Yeah,
like, yes, there's violence to it, but it is also centered and peaceful. Mm-hmm. And it is like a type of violence where this person felt like it was the only thing they could do to really accomplish said thing, but not at the harm of others, just the harm to themselves.
Yeah.
But like also it's ending in light, and it's ending in, like.
Yeah, it's interesting because like I feel like that it's
one of those I get where Hans and the obviously the writer was like going with it. Could have been a little more flushed out, but like there's something about it that I can grasp, but I can't really.
That's exactly
explain.
how I'm feeling. It's like there's something like that I can't. That's untangible to like that I can't figure out. Like what like that. I feel like there's the message is there. That's the message of what the movie is supposed to be about. Is how it's inside of this whole world of all this violence. There is a way to find peace.
Yeah.
Maybe by lighting yourself on fire.
Yeah.
It's interesting. But so we kind of get that whole wrapped up, and Marty now has, since we know this is the end of the movie, we know Marty has the end of his screenplay. And we also see him finish up writing it.
No, but the weird thing about that, though, he finished up writing it at Billy's house.
Yeah.
But the cops are looking for Billy as possibly being linked to the...
No, but they found Billy's dead body probably in the desert.
Oh. Yeah, but they would still go to the house and collect evidence.
He's just writing it there. I mean, or maybe he left and like that day he finished it.
Oh, like he went straight there, wrote it, and then left before they like got there. Yeah, I'm like, no, they would have gone to the house to like collect evidence. But yeah, that's pretty. Like, sorry, that seemed like all over the place. But yeah, that's.
Well, then it's like the credits roll and then they stop.
Oh, and yeah, this is okay. So this is the last thing, and then we'll wrap it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Like credits roll and then they kind of stop, and then all of a sudden it's Marty. Like the movie's a success, and it's a phone call, and it's Zachariah, Tom Waits' character from earlier, reminding him like
the second he says Zachariah, Colin Farrell's face drops, and he's like, "Oh
fuck, I fucked up, because he didn't put the message at the end for his wife." And then to find, he's like, "How's she supposed to find me?"
And the whole time they're on the phone too, Zachariah's just playing with a machete, like touching the tip of it and everything. And he's like, basically, like, "I'm gonna come and kill you on Tuesday." He's like, Colin Farrell's just like,
"Okay."
And Tom Waits, Zachariah's like, "You sound different.
You sound changed."
And he realizes that now Marty's a little off kilter from this whole. It's
like Marty's kind of just accepted his mortality in a weird way.
Yeah, and he's like, Tom Waits is like, "Oh, actually Tuesday that doesn't work for me." He's like,
maybe another time. Like that, he's starting to back off.
Yeah, like maybe another time.
But even Colin Farrell's like, Marty's like, okay. But like there's like a weird, like, it's not like a nonchalant okay. It's kind of like a,
I'll see you when I see you.
Acceptance of like, I'm gonna die at some point by the hands of this dude.
Yeah.
Like there's a fear in him, but it's like it's an acceptance. It's not like there's no begging. No, like, no, please don't kill me. No, I swear. Like, well, first he's like, no, I can get a change. I can get it. He's like, no, it's too late. And it's like, okay, it's too late.
Yeah.
He's like, I've dealt with so many fucking psychopaths. I know there's no way to talk myself out of this.
Yeah. And that's the end of the movie. It's I really recommend it. What do you rate it?
I think it's a mogwai, in my opinion. I really liked this movie, actually.
Good. I'm really glad you liked it.
I really, really enjoyed it. But I think in an actual like critic sense, it's kind of a
hot mess.
It's a hot mess. Yeah, I think I would give it like a wet mogwai.
I was gonna say, like, if we're gonna be objective about it, wet mogwai.
No, maybe not a wet mogwai. That's wet. Yeah, wet mogwai. Yeah, a wet mogwai. Like objectively, it's a wet mogwai. It's not a overall amazing movie. It's just like that first reviewer, that first review that said, I think it was the first review, just like how it's just fun to like, it's a great thing to like bring or lighten your mood.
Yeah, like it's a fun, like, it's personally for me, yeah, it's a mogwai.
It's a very chaotic energy. It's definitely not for everyone. I'd say also like crazy sick fucks like Tommy and I watch this movie and get a kick out of it and glee because
it's also a dark comedy.
It's very dark.
It's fun. Like, it had me chuckling. I just like, and this is so, if you're really interested in dialogue, the dialogue in this is really well written and it's really fun for that.
It's like, did he really just fucking say that? That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, and there's a lot of like, can't believe you just said that.
Oh yeah, what is the because Hans's character is using, like, he uses the word fag for something. He's like, oh no, he's talking about how Marty uses it, and he's like, and I don't think they like that word anymore. I think they prefer the word homos.
He's just this old guy. Like, I'm pretty sure the like right one is homos. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that's what they like. It's like, God damn it. And it's Christopher Walken saying it, so it's just got this other layer to it. But yeah, I mean, it's
enjoyable.
It's a weird ass movie.
It's a weird movie. It's a very, very weird movie.
It really is like nothing. I mean, honestly, it's really, it's a very unique movie.
Yeah. I mean, like we were saying earlier, is like, you compare it to like some Tarantino stuff, like Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. It's a movie that's kind of it's a satire, commentary on Hollywood itself in a weird way. Like, I guess in a weird metaphorical thing, you can just talk about how the psychopaths that writers have to deal with inside of Hollywood to figure out how to make their movies, you know?
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know.
I mean,
that's
like
maybe reaching, but
I think it's a little. I mean, my biggest thing is just the revenge thing.
Oh yeah,
everyone pretty much is like at some point, because even Hans isn't looking for revenge, but he did.
Yeah,
and then he tried to live a peaceful life, and then violence still found him.
And Marty doesn't really learn anything. Like, there's no like moral lesson for Marty to learn other than don't forget to put the psychopath's information at the end of your movie so you don't get killed.
Don't let your psychopath friend put your information in the newspaper.
Don't be friends with psychopaths.
Don't be friends with a psychopath. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Thanks for listening. We're doing Zodiac next week.
And that's a little more of an intense movie.
Yeah, and that's one I've never seen. So
What you know what's actually funny? I realized Mark Ruffalo, Jake Gyllenhaal, Robert Downey Jr. all in the MCU.
And Robert Downey Jr. again.
Yeah.
We're talking. There's the fifth movie. All right. So, yeah, please like, subscribe. If you get a second, rate us on our either Apple Podcast or Spotify or anything like that.
Yeah.
Follow us on Instagram, TJ's Mixtape, because we have little posts and stuff that you can check out.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be it. Sorry, we talked for you too long.
It wasn't that long. We're in a good time.
All right, cool.
Well, thanks to everybody. And
this is Tommy.
This is Jacob.
This is Tommy and Jacob's Mixtape. Bye, y'all.
Boop.